Hello, I'm Ben Cook, and today I'm going to be showing you the data mining report in Management Studio. The data mining report is really handy where you need to get data out of the tool in various different formats, and you can save those reports. You can make them publicly accessible too. The report can be run out of any of the main modules such as the applications, the user migrations, the devices, and so on. I'm going to run it out of user migrations. So I'm going to come into all user migrations. Now I could select a few users to run this against. I could run it against all my users. I'm just going to run it against the validating users. So users which are in the validating process. So I select that process and I hit select all in the toolbar here. Now what I'm going to do is hit the data mining report button. Now if I did want to run one of my saved data mining reports, I would click the drop down, but I don't want to do that. I just want to run a default report. So hit the main button here. And let me just resize that so we can see that properly. And if I just hit run now, so this top left hand button, what we'll see is a report of those 255 users. Not particularly useful. I can of course pop open this option here and choose different fields to bring into that report, but still not quite what I'm after. I actually want to understand which applications each of those users requires. So what I'm going to do is add a reporting tier. So in my reporting tier, I'm going to add applications. And again, I can choose which fields come in. I'm going to leave those at default and hit the run button again. So now what I'll get is a much bigger report. And that's because for each user, I'm listing out each and every application they require. It will take a little bit longer to run. So rather than 255 records, we will have almost 13,000 records. You can see, so for Timothy here, we've got a line for each application that he requires. Now to make this particular report a little bit easier to view, what I can do is I can turn on this show hide option for grouping, and then I can group by something like SAM account. So I just drag that up, and now what I've got is a list of all the users and the applications that they require. So that first user here, 92 apps, that second user, 53 apps, and so on. So pretty useful. Other things I might want to do in the data mining report are actually change the source, change the data source. So I've got these options up the top here in my ribbon. At the moment, explicit user migrations means it's going to run against those explicit users I selected in the grid. That's the 255 that were in the validating process. I could easily change that to all user migrations or users in another process, for example, or a certain blueprint. We've also got options for filter and sort. So I've got filters available here, and I can sort my columns here, and there are some advanced linking options in here which we're not going to be covering in this session. So coming back to build report, I'm actually going to change this report now. I want something slightly different, so I'm going to turn off that grouping, turn off that option there. I'm going to pop open this application reporting tier, and actually I want to get rid of that, so I hit the button here to get rid of that, because now what I want is a readiness report. So I want to see how ready each user is based on the applications that they require and based on which of those applications are ready. So I add readiness tier and I choose applications. I'm going to run this just by default, and let's see, we now will get a list of those 255 users, and this time we've got the readiness of each of those. So Timothy here needs a total of 87 apps. 9 of those apps are ready, 78 remaining, which is 10% ready. And of course we can sort by something like the readiness, so we could see if there is anybody ready today. Actually there are 2 people who we could maybe look at migrating. That's great. I want to save that report. So what I do now is I hit save, and now I can choose a name, and I'm going to call this user app readiness, and just put a new one in there so we know which one it is. And I can make this public if I want to. I'm going to hit save. Great, that has saved that report. I'm now going to close that report. Now to see that in the drop down here, I actually need to restart the client. So I'm going to do that by reloading the project. So I can hit that button there, reload demo 1, and that will reload my project, and we can go and have a look at that report. So here we go, Management Studio is being reloaded. We should go straight into user migrations. It should remember that. Sure enough, it has. And in my drop-down list here, I'll have my new report available, which is this one here, User App Readiness New. So I can click on that, it will open up that report for me, and it will have it configured as I last configured it earlier on. Now just one thing to bear in mind is my data source here. So because I've only selected that one user, it's only run it for that one particular user, what I would really want to do is select some more users in here before I ran the port, and now if I run that, we'll see that we've got that report, but for a few more users. There we go, for those 18 users. Hopefully that's been useful. Thanks very much.